What is happening, you beautiful bastards? Welcome back to another week. Unfortunately, this week we were ghosted. I know everyone was looking forward to our guest of a lady of the night, escort, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, she was actually more than that. She had, I think she started as a sugar baby. So she had like a wild career that we really wanted to know about.
So Jerry and I are now on the hunt, and we're going to find another person.
Yeah, another escort.
But for tonight, you'll get another G&G. We have plenty more guests coming, so don't fret.
I can hear them fretting from here.
What is happening, you beautiful bastards?
I'm sure plenty of you saw where someday this week, Chappelle was attacked on stage to where all of his bodyguards severely beat the shit out of that man.
I did think it was kind of funny, though, that he didn't just attack him with a knife. It looked like a gun, but it was a knife.
Oh, yeah. Why? Why not just sneak in a knife?
This makes
Why
me
make
wonder.
it really hard and make it look like a pistol? I don't fucking get that.
Well, for one, it looked like a pistol, and he got it through. These guys are patting down everybody, taking away cell phones, but what is essentially amounts to a gun got through.
Yeah, I guess we were reading an article today where there's gonna be charges against not only Dave Chappelle but the venue. And the venue because of the complete lack of security, but Dave Chappelle because his entourage beat the shit out of this guy.
Yeah, I think they broke or dislocated his arm. Man, I saw the picture, and
they totally fucking did.
That guy had a bad night.
We will put an image up here of it. It's fantastic. But
right here, bam.
If you attack someone, how the whole idea of you being able to then sue them because you got fucked up for attacking them, it never worked well in my brain.
No, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I told you earlier, Griz, and I've heard this many times, that it's got to hold true, that if you get attacked by somebody and you're going to defend yourself, you're always better off making sure they're actually dead, because if not, in the United States, they can sue you for beating the shit out of them.
Yeah, but then, like, their family can sue you if they're dead.
I don't know. I don't hear that in the news very often.
I don't know. It just means always make sure that they die.
Then it's so if you don't kill him, it's your word against theirs. If you do kill him, it's your word against a dead body. You have more credibility there.
Not if there's like you unloaded everything, reloaded, and then unloaded again.
You thought they were a zombie.
I'm sorry.
Now the guy does have me wondering. He brought a gun. Well, he brought a knife that looks like a gun, and that makes me wonder if at home he has guns that look like knives.
You mean like his cutting board and shit?
Yeah.
Just a bunch of fucking guns.
That's how he cuts his steak, with an AR-15.
Well, I'm still lost on why. Because I saw it. This isn't like a manufactured thing. This is something this guy made. Did he want it to be like a bayonet or something?
There's got to be something wrong with him.
Well, apparently he's an up-and-coming rapper. He had a song where he said he was going to do this. We must have missed it because of all the people listening to it.
I think he missed the part where you're supposed to rap about it, but not do it in public.
Man, that's where I fucked up too. I just don't it just doesn't make any damn sense to me, man.
I like Chris Rock's response though. I don't know if someone asked him. No, that was a good one too, though. Actually, no.
I thought that's what you're going for, dude.
Chris Rock did ask if it was Will Smith, but it was Kevin Hart that actually said that it was a good thing they beat the shit out of him because they made an example out of him, and now no one's going to try that again.
Well, apparently a bunch of fucking other comedians are afraid to be on stage now because they're thinking it's going to happen.
Comedians aren't really known for being tough, you know?
I still don't get why this guy attacked him, but whatever.
I have no idea. But that does remind me of Tesla bots. You know what those are?
I do. And listeners, I'm starting to question whether or not Jerry is becoming an Elon cuck.
I'm not an Elon cuck. I just find I find old musky boy entertaining.
For like longtime listeners, I think it was like episode 1. Jerry professed his hatred for Elon, and now he's just slathering that thing all over the place.
No, I have conflicted feelings. Listen, he's not a good person. He's a shit human being, but
Yeah.
he's the only one making things happen in space
Okay.
travel, in electric cars and self-driving technology, and now in iRobot technology.
Yeah, we'll put an image up of this thing too. Looking at it, it looks like iRobot, and it's a little creepy.
Yeah. So it's all white with just a black head. And if you were able to zoom in, if you find a picture that's zoomed in, the face is just it's turned off in the picture. So the face is just like an LCD screen in the shape of a human head. And I haven't seen one turned on, but they did say that when it turns on, it's going to have a digital face. And all I'm picturing is like a really cheesy smiley face that's pixelated.
I would say I totally have that pixelated, like it's 4 pixels for an eyeball.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting it to be.
You know, it's gonna be something out of he's so into movies. It's gonna be like Hal.
Yeah, probably. He does have, he's got a weird outlook on this whole situation because he is convinced that AI and automation is going to take over the workforce and no one's going to be able to have a job. And yet
Well,
here
he's
he is
also
making,
convinced.
he's convinced what?
He's also convinced that it'll take over the world.
Yeah. But I think he might also not be telling us the part where he's going to upload himself into one. So really, he's going to take over the world. But if you haven't heard of the Tesla bot, which apparently a lot of people haven't, I don't know how he's kept it under wraps because he's been talking about it for a while. He wants to release the first one next year, but his goal is for it to be like essentially like the movie iRobot, where you have a little helper bot. It's 5'8", and it's designed to like do your mundane tasks, do your chores, everything that you don't want to do at home or potentially at work. This humanoid robot can do.
I have
I'm
several
guessing there's going to
questions.
be some growing pains, but it looks pretty legit.
What are they gonna do for people like you with a Napoleon complex and are now pissed off because this thing is taller than them?
I'm still taller than a 5'8" robot. Not by a lot, but I'm still winning. And besides, if it gets too bad, I'll have this robot doing all my chores, going out making all my money, and I can just go out west and get that leg extension surgery.
So you'll be taller than your robot.
Yeah, I'll
Would you
have
name it?
disproportionately long legs.
Would you name it?
Morpheus.
So fucked up. So here's the real thing. Do you think that the Tesla bot is really part of the whole what's the brain thing?
The hive mind?
No. Tesla, that Elon's doing.
Oh,
Neuralink.
Neuralink, yeah.
You think he's trying to get the Neuralink to download you into a Tesla bot?
He is. Oh, I
Oh
forgot to
my-
mention that. I was reading a lot of articles on this last few days. His end game, I guess we'll call it, is he wants to be able to essentially download your personality and your thoughts and memories into this bot, and you'll kind of live forever. Now, in my opinion, this is a lot like teleportation, where in theory, yeah, you could live forever, but it's not really you. You're going to be dead. It's just a
Mhm.
copy.
Mhm.
So I know that my robot, Jerry, is going to really appreciate that. But me personally, I'm going to be pretty upset.
You're gonna be dead and not know what the fuck's going on anymore.
Well, yeah, you're right. I'll just be worm food. The robot is going to recycle me. I'm going to be Soylent Green for the people that are still left until they're extinct.
Does it concern anyone else how much like the Elon fanboys?
They
what I'm saying?
they're a weird group.
They're hardcore, man.
Yeah.
They don't question a damn thing he does. It's just everything fucking go, go, go.
I've
He bought
actually
Twitter.
seen.
They were all for it.
Oh, I don't know what's going on with Twitter. I've still got mixed feelings about that. I know we mentioned it last time, but now we're talking. He's going to be like a temporary CEO or something like that.
Mm. I haven't read
No,
anything on this.
that's a terrible idea.
Why?
This is Elon Musk we're talking about.
Hmm.
He's the kind of person who fires people if they don't work like 80 hours a week.
Yeah, we talked about Jerry applied to work for Tesla as a testing their
I actually applied
autopilot.
for Tesla and SpaceX. For Tesla, what I applied for is when they do like new things to their cars and they want to make sure that they work, like the self-driving aspect of it. Someone has to go out there with the car and say, I'm going to go here and like I'll throw shit in the road in front of you and make sure that you don't kill anybody. That's the job. It's essentially an autopilot tester.
My question is, would Elon be in the back seat staring down Jerry, making sure he did his 80-hour weeks and peed in Gatorade bottles?
He'll be sleeping in the trunk because he sleeps on the factory floor. If he
Make sure to
senses
let
that
me
the
out
vehicle,
when you're done with your drive.
if he senses the vehicle stops moving, he'll know that he has to reprimand me.
Out pops a Tesla bot, bends you over its knee.
Needless to say, though, I never even got a phone call. I'm in Connecticut and they're in Texas, but I figured if they want me to come work there, I'll move to Texas for a couple of years. I'm guessing that I would get bored testing their cars after a year or two, but
Like a year?
it would be pretty cool for a minute.
I mean, unless they really, really went abstract with that, and they're like, "What happens if jellyfish fly in front of the Tesla? What do we do?" You just get crazy out there.
Reading the application or the job posting, it's essentially what you're doing is you're trying to tax this thing's capabilities. Like, maybe if I had like a crash test dummy suit, I could just walk in front of it.
Yeah, just walk in front of it.
Yeah,
You'll be fine, Jerry. Don't worry.
What's the worst that'll happen? It hits me, then they give me a lot of money, and I don't have to work for them anymore at all.
You probably signed some sort of disclosure saying if I get killed by a Tesla, I don't get money.
That's probably a stipulation to work there. If you die here, we hide your body and you disappear.
Before we do the interview, we need you to sign this.
I did apply. I applied for SpaceX too. They have a SpaceX in, I think there's one in Florida, Texas, and might still be one in California. I applied to the one in Florida.
And before that interview, they had one that signed if SpaceX runs into you and kills you, you don't get any money.
We blow up rockets. If you blow up with it, we're not responsible. Yeah, that was also a tester position. So make sure everything on the rocket was all kosher, copacetic, as it were.
Ooh.
Oh, I started reading 1,500 words you should know.
Did you?
No,
I have not started 1984.
That's disappointing. Now, I don't know how many of you listeners are readers, but if you are, 1984 is a book that I think everybody should read. And Griz here never even picked it up. I've read it a couple of times now.
I know of it, and it's not true that I've never picked it up. I picked it up this week.
No, Griz doesn't read. He listens.
I don't. I listen. I'm a big dumb monkey, and I prefer to listen to books than to read them.
It's easier to drive that way.
The other thing in the news this week, and we kind of don't know why, other than the obvious, is abortion.
This one has me baffled. I'll be honest with you guys.
And we're not going to get into the whether it's right, wrong, or otherwise, because that's really kind of old news.
It is.
Why the fuck is it in the news?
So Griz has a bit of a conspiracy theory about this. Now, so I brought this up initially because we were all talking about it in a group, and no one seemed to be picking up on this. And I said to them, where did this come from? Because I think it was last week. They said there was a leak that says the Supreme Court's thinking about overturning Roe versus Wade. And my first thought is, where the fuck did that come from? No one's even talking about that.
Nope.
And then everyone says, oh, Texas did this. I'm okay. Where the fuck did that come from? No one's talked about abortion in 5 years, and all of a sudden it's a big issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's been settled for a long time.
So this is to where I came up with my conspiracy theory.
Let's hear it. Lay it on.
Which I think is fantastic. So
probably accurate.
Yeah, I think so. We all know elections are coming up, and Biden, even though he's 5,002, wants to go in for re-election. And instead of doing the expensive thing and paying for college tuition for everyone or their college debt, he's now taking the focus off of college debt and putting it onto abortion, which was solved fucking 50 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's wild.
now abortion's in the spotlight. He doesn't have to worry about college debt. He just has to worry about Roe versus Wade, which he's already done.
It's actually surprisingly, it's also quieted down the news feed on the invasion of Ukraine.
Mm.
I really
And
shouldn't be surprised by that. And oh yeah, Taiwan went totally under the radar with that one. If you guys haven't
Yeah.
heard, Grizz, what did that article tell you today?
Basically Taiwan had to send up. I love this because if you're in China, you own Taiwan, right? It's part of you. But apparently you can't fly your own bombers over it because they went to go fly like something like 6 or 7 aircraft over Taiwan, and Taiwan was like, not today, bitches.
They said, get the hell out of our clouds.
Which apparently
they had a
Taiwan's
big
been on
issue.
like super high alert since Ukraine, because for obvious reasons they're worried, oh shit, here's Taiwan
Yeah.
1.0.
And here is China testing the waters, and nobody but Reuters noticed.
Yes, this is true. No one else had the balls to put it out there, which good on them, I guess.
I bet you Al Jazeera put it out there too. I haven't checked them in a while.
They might have.
What were we talking about? How did we get talking about China?
Abortion.
Ah, yes, that's typical.
And how it's shadowed
Typical
everything.
transition. That wasn't non sequitur at all. Yeah, so the abortion thing. I read a couple articles about the people who are in, I think Indiana's one of them. Obviously, Texas wants to ban it. Indiana, they want to make it.
Well, didn't Texas
murder
do it
charge.
already?
Yeah, Texas already banned it, and they put bounties on people's heads if they do it.
Yeah, Louisiana made it a homicide charge.
I thought it was Indiana. Either way, that general area of the United States,
Those are
center
not
strip.
close to each other there, Jerry.
The center strip from top to bottom. They all kind of view it the same way, generally speaking. But one of the people who is writing this law, he wanted to include ectopic pregnancies, and what that is if you get someone pregnant and they have the egg and everything was fertilized up in the tube, that's not going to work. It's like blowing up a radiator hose. Bad things will happen. And he wanted to also punish women legally and, send them to jail and shit if they got an abortion for an ectopic pregnancy. So effectively, he's saying, I don't care if this pregnancy kills you, you're going through with it.
I don't care if it kills you, because after it kills you, I'm going to charge you for murder.
Yeah. But I don't know where you guys stand on this. I'm a little more open to abortion than most of the people I know.
I have a hardcore standing that apparently we've gone wrong in the past like 20 years, and we really need to focus on who the fuck we're voting on, because we fucked up. This is our bad. Raise your hand. We fucked up.
I totally disagree with your assessment. So whoever you vote for, let's say you're conservative, and it goes the same way for liberals. Whoever you vote for, they're going to run campaign on a certain set of promises. And I told you about Obama earlier
Yes,
today.
but we've been believing them.
That's my point.
That's
Obama's
still
like,
our fault.
Obama's the perfect candidate to shed light on this situation. He actually ran on codifying Roe versus Wade, which means they wouldn't be able to be overturned. It would be the law of the land and not just a really good idea for them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he got into office and no one ever heard about it again.
Yeah, that's kind of the way that went.
So
That's
they
my point.
voted for what they wanted, and they still didn't get what they want, even though they got the person they wanted.
But that's been that way forever, and we keep doing it.
Exactly my point.
And
So
we don't hold them accountable for it. Dude, I think
what can we do?
The show before.
What can we do? Flex the Second Amendment?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I shouldn't say that.
I think I've brought this up on the show before, but Central America, I believe, they voted in I want to say mayor. He had all these promises. He fulfilled none of them. So they tied him up behind a truck and dragged him until he was dead.
We can't do that in the U.S.
Why?
I think that's called
I think
lynching.
that we should get all the people in Congress to make that a law. They would totally do that.
You're treading some dangerous water here. I'm not going to advocate lynching
Of politicians? Fuck yeah, I would. Why do I
No,
care?
no. This is a terrible idea.
What have
Although
they
I don't
done for
really
me?
have a better alternative because we're voting for the people that we have a choice from, and they are
Dude,
literally
if
not
you
doing what
make
they said they would do.
that's my point. If you make a promise to get into office, we vote you in, and you are a complete shitbag and don't follow through with anything and make things worse, which is how many of them? All of them?
All of them.
Mm. Yes, you should be lynched
Well,
publicly.
yeah, I guess you're right. The least they could do is give us an IOU. It's as good as cash.
Nope. Lynching. I'm all for it. Just do it. Trust me. The next one ain't gonna do it.
Oh, so we're gonna set examples, just like the
Literally takes one. Just take
just like
Biden when he doesn't do the student debt that he promised he would take care of. He's already like fucking 5,000. We're just doing God's work now.
just like Dave Chappelle. Make an example out of people.
Exactly. Texas is losing its shit. Although not really.
What?
'Cause
Yes, it is.
It is losing its shit. Don't get me wrong.
Greg
I
Abbott
think
mostly is losing his shit.
yeah, well, again, elected official. Um Listen, this is how to a degree it's supposed to be, right? I'd rather have states, not that I agree with what he's doing, but I'd rather have states control themselves and people can move out of these states for the most part if they don't want to live there. And
That's not true. That's not true, Grizz.
For the most
You're very misleading here. You're feeding our audience a pile of shit.
All right, fine, maybe.
You can't just move out of a state.
There's a lot more to it than that. But I mean, if you are that hard, like usually what people are getting blown up over, and these days they're getting offended over, is something another state which they didn't vote for the official or anything.
Mhm.
Their state doesn't agree with what's happening at all, which is why they live there most
Well,
of the time.
let's talk about
Now you live in the state you grew up in.
yeah, I do. Not
I don't.
it's
A
kind
lot
of
of other people
I
don't.
live here begrudgingly and I wish I didn't.
But you could leave. If your state all of a sudden started making laws to where it affected your family's health and mental health and well-being, you wouldn't leave.
Of course I would, but it's not
Hmm?
like an easy thing to do.
No, it's
Okay.
not. It's not.
Especially
I
with the
agree.
economy the way it is right now. I was just telling you guys. A
Groceries.
house in 2014 in California, which is like the perfect place to look at for this example. A regular like 1,000 square foot ranch in California in 2013 or 14 was $200,000. Same one today, $600,000. That's not even 10 years.
Oh, it's insane. I
Yeah,
mean,
so it's
dude,
so you can't just say if you don't like it, leave. It doesn't really work that way.
yeah, I understand that. You can leave still, because California's a bad like
That's just
the
using that
housing
as an
market is
example
not
for
the
the housing
same.
market. It is now. It's the same everywhere.
Dude, can you afford a house in California?
There's actually a lot of houses in California I could afford. I just don't want to live somewhere where there's bars on my windows.
Well, that or it's tiny. Like,
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? I don't want to afford a house in California, but I know I can afford them in most of the areas down south.
Yeah, but you get what you pay for.
Yeah, it's still a good house, just no basement.
Well, no basement, no amenities. You gotta ride your horse down the street to get hay for it because that's all they got.
Whoa. I said down south, not fucking 1875.
That's the same thing.
It's not.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't say that. I'm a big fan of North Carolina. Well, with mega drought, we're actually on our way back to 1860s.
What the fuck is mega drought?
Have
I
you not
assume
have
it's
you not
just the
heard?
drought that's happening throughout the world.
Have you not heard?
No, obviously not.
Heard is the word. Mega drought. So you know what Lake Mead is? Yes or no?
Yes.
Do you really? Or are you just saying that for the
Yeah,
audience?
it's where I'm drawing a blank on the dam. Hoover Dam.
It's okay. You can just pretend that you know, and I'll explain it to the
I
audience.
said Hoover Dam.
Lake Mead, out in Nevada.
It's dropped like fucking
It is the
50,
world's
60 feet. Right?
sorry, not the world's. I don't know about the
100,
world. It's the United
130 feet.
The United States largest reservoir. It's man-made. I think it was made in was it the 60s?
Mm-mm.
40s?
I want
30s.
to say 20. What
What?
year?
I said
What year?
60s, then 40s, then 30s.
Nope. It was created. Its construction began in 1931. It opened
So
1936.
So
It
I
is
was right.
86 years old.
So I was right. It was 60s, 40s, 30s.
Yeah, apparently.
I was close. I was in the
No.
right century.
You
Uh,
okay?
how big is it? Does it give you some information on the actual size of
It
it?
does. It is
It's
726 feet high. It's a length of 1,240 feet long, 1,244 feet.
Okay.
The elevation at crest is 1,232 feet. The volume, here you go, is 3,250,000 cubic yards. It's a fucking shit ton.
That's a lot of water. So that feeds actually a lot of states. And one thing that a lot of people don't think about when they're talking about the mega drought, obviously you can't water your grass. There's going to be crop issues, but they're about 16 feet of water depth away from the hydroelectric dam being inoperable. And that feeds at least 3 states of power. It might actually be more than that.
Yeah, it was like, I want to say last year they were showing a crazy drop. I want to say last year was like 130 something.
Yeah. And it's continuing to go down. They're actually talking about releasing something like 500,000 acre feet. It's some weird number that they measure it with from a reservoir upstream, upriver, to fill it back up enough to not kill the dam or to not kill the hydroelectric dam.
I found a cool chart, Jerry.
Show it to me.
Wow. Okay. So in 2020, it was pretty bad.
Mhm.
The level, what is this measured? It's not even telling me. Tell me the things. All right. So the level in, we'll say May
Mhm.
of 2020 was 1,096 feet.
Deep?
And I know, yeah. And I know that was already low in
Mhm.
for 2020. This year, we're already at 1,054. It's
So
like
it went
way
from what to
dropped.
what again? Show it to us, Grizz. Let's see what it looks like.
Look at this shit.
Ooh, what are we looking at here? All right, walk us through it.
You got height, man. You got feet over here. You got month over here. The blue is 22. Green's 21. Magenta is 2020.
So it was at its peak at 1,100 feet, roughly.
Yep.
And now we're down to what?
Well, we can go back. Ooh, added lines.
Oh,
Crazy.
so it's been pretty consistently.
It's been consistent for the past, we'll say, 5 years.
And now
Except
we have
year,
this.
we're hoping.
Now we have this steep cliff we're dropping down right here in the blue, guys. And actually, one of the intake valves that has been in there for an ungodly amount of time is actually exposed. It's not underwater anymore. That's how much water they've lost. And like I said earlier, they're only 16 feet of depth away from losing hydroelectric power because there's not enough water to push the turbines.
Which that feeds power to what, like California, Nevada, fucking.
Somewhere, let's look it up. 3 to 7 states. All right, so the Hoover Dam generates on average about 4 billion kilowatt hours of hydroelectric power each year for use in Nevada, Arizona, and California. And that's enough to serve 1.3 million people. Now, as far as the water goes, that is 7 states. That is split up all over the West. It's Colorado, Wyoming, New Mexico, Utah, Arizona, Nevada, and California, and portions of Mexico. So
I think we kind of over, it's easy for us to kind of glaze over it because we've never had to worry about like water droughts that much. It was
no, here in New England, we have more water than we know what to do with, more than we could shake a stick at.
Well, we still have droughts, but
Yeah.
it's not nearly as bad as over there.
I've actually seen
last year. Did we even have a drought?
I don't remember hearing about one. So if we did, it was not a big deal. But
Yeah.
I looked at a lot of climate change maps, and a lot of them are time lapsed. Now, I know a lot of our listeners are not big on climate change, but whether you believe it's man-made or not, it's measurable and it's happening. And in the next 50 to 100 years, there are 2 places in the United States that are going to be largely unaffected. Everywhere else you're in trouble. So like California, Texas, the big states that people really have been moving to, they are going to be too hot to live in. They're not going to be able to make enough power for the people there, and they don't have enough water.
Mm.
Now, they could fix all this with desalination and nuclear power, but we're not going to get that from anybody. It's too scary. But the two places in the country that are relatively unscathed from climate change are the Rust Belt, which is around the edge of the Great Lakes, and New England. So be prepared. Your property values are going to go up, and we'll have nowhere to move to. We're going to be crowded.
Sweet. So tent city it is. All right.
Mm-hmm. You're going to have to turn your house into an Airbnb, start renting out rooms.
It's only getting bigger. Plus, I mean, dude, it's getting bad out there. Groceries are stupid.
This is
eggs are expensive as fuck. Birds are
this is a scary episode. I'm not happy about this.
We just went straight down the tubes.
You're scaring me, Griz. Let's take it somewhere happier.
I don't have anywhere happier. Do we have happier? We supposed to be happy?
Yes, I actually heard good news today.
What's that?
Well, it turns out that Russia is not actually at war with Ukraine. It's just a strategic military operation.
Oh. Well, that's nice.
Although they are threatening to declare war, and I'm wondering what that means for the world.
We talked about this before. You think they'll drop a nuke, and that no one will drop a nuke after them?
I do think that they. So the chances of them dropping a nuke right now, going forward, are exponentially greater than they were 2 weeks ago. But I don't think that anyone NATO affiliated at least, would respond with another nuke.
I mean, I'm not up with the numbers of who has nukes and not, other than the ones you hear about all the time, like North Korea and shit.
Throw those numbers out the window, and here's the truth: everybody has them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But dude, if your country just got fucked up, so if Ukraine gets hit, like we talked about before, and I think we talked about last week, where's this shit going? It's going northwest and north. And if it's not a nuclear incident like Chernobyl, you don't think there's just how can NATO sit there?
I didn't say they would sit there, Griz. I said they wouldn't respond with another nuke.
You're also going off the idea, and this is a stretch, that the Russian nuke will work.
I have a high degree of confidence that it will, because they stole the plans from us.
What if it just does a hot run in the tube and it explodes in Russia? What then?
That might solve some of our issues. I do still see, though, because I actually read about this every day. I still see this, I don't even know what to call it, conflict for now. I think it's going to turn into a full-scale war. I see this lasting. Call it a war. I see this lasting for the duration of Putin's leadership.
Man, people have said that he's ill. He's got
so maybe his leadership will be shorter than I think it is, but it's still going to last the duration.
So what I find interesting, so this is all supposed to stemmed off of oligarchs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many oligarchs have died since the start of this?
What do you mean? The start of what? Humanity? A lot of them.
Wow. Since the start of the Ukrainian war.
I didn't realize that any oligarchies died.
Yeah. Suspicious suicides. Let me look this up.
This is pretty suspicious.
This is the conspiracy theory episode. Here's the real question. Can Griz spell oligarchs? I want to say in the last week it was 6.
6 oligarchs.
6 Russian.
And these are all Russian oligarchs, right?
Yep. So they're all Russian, right? So 6.
They're getting that upset about their boats being confiscated?
Well, also their money went from, okay to useless.
One thing that we need to actually point out here, that if you're a Russian oligarch, there's a high degree of possibility that you're also at some level involved with the Russian government, in terms of whether you're an official, you're behind the scenes helping to make decisions. They're not just random rich people in Russia.
No. So the headlines read 6 Russian businessmen die by suicide within 3 months. 4 oligarchs and 2 directors at an oil giant Gazprom have taken their own lives in a spat of deaths among Russians' elite since Putin invaded Ukraine.
Have you seen the latest James Bond movie?
Yeah.
You know how
I don't remember
anytime
which one
someone
is that?
Skyfall,
No, it's not. Dude, what?
it's got to be.
No, it's not.
It doesn't really matter what it is. My point is, anytime an operative that's not on 007's side gets caught, they eat a cyanide pill and kill themselves.
Mhm.
That's got to be what's happening. So they don't talk. They have some kind of pact where
Well,
they have to kill themselves.
I mean, it's been known for years that Russia's been doing shit like that. They got caught doing this shit where they like poisoned doorknobs and fucking car doors and shit.
But yeah, Putin did it to his brother-in-law recently, within the last
They-
5 years or so. I don't remember the
Yeah.
exact date.
Which is so fucked up.
Yeah.
He's bringing back the old KGB days.
He really is pining for that. You know, he probably spent all of the lockdowns just in the basement of the Kremlin going over the old maps and just tapping his fingers together.
Which-
Someday I'm going to put this all back together.
I know we're bouncing around like crazy, but have you seen China's still doing lockdowns? Like, I know in America
They
because
seem to
of-
have gotten worse, actually.
Yeah, so in America, COVID's not a thing anymore. I don't know if you know this.
Oh, that's because we have Ukraine and abortions to talk about. So we only
what's
have
Ukraine?
enough bandwidth. We only have enough bandwidth for one catastrophe at a time.
I only know about abortion right now.
But
So
yeah,
anyways.
China's actually locked down to the point where people are starving in their apartment, right?
But they're starving in their apartment. They're losing their shit, literally.
Yeah, they're losing their minds over there.
They're losing their minds. But like they just keep doing these lockdowns, like crazy lockdowns of entire cities, and people are still getting COVID.
Now, this goes to another conspiracy theory that I mentioned, that there's some kind of backdoor deal with the UN and the WHO, everybody in charge. I'm pretty sure they know there's a good chance that this is a Chinese mistake. And we know it started in Wuhan, and we
Okay.
don't really know the exact origin. Could be the lab, could be the bat, whatever. I'm pretty sure that all the governments got together and said, listen, China, this is your one freebie. If it happens again, you're fucking done. And now they're trying desperately to control another spread.
I don't think they'll give them if that was true, which I don't think it is. But if it was, I don't think they'd give them a freebie, because what has this done besides kill a shit ton of people, start another recession, and also probably a housing bubble? Like
It transferred a
exposed.
lot of power.
did, but it also exposed all of their failings.
Oh, yeah, it sure did.
They're not going to let that slide. They would drop a nuke for that.
Who would?
All of them.
Oh, everybody would.
Everyone.
Maybe this is the universe where the COVID pandemic was the start of the end. The simulation's about to get reset.
I thought, my conspiracy theory, China figured out that COVID is making all of us just really, really stupid and has bad long-term effects. So they said, "Oh God, we can't let any of our people have this." So the lockdown. But it's not.
You know what I could see happening that would really bolster conspiracy theorists if the timing was bad enough, is some crazy conspiracy theorist is going to take down the 5G network, and that's going to coincide accidentally with the end of the pandemic.
It's already done. I don't. What's this pandemic you speak of?
I mean, it's going to end the abortion problem.
Oh, all right.
Now, my theory, I got to share it with everybody.
Oh yeah.
I do have a theory, because Grizz today was trying to use the computer at work and the internet was just not having any of it.
Mm.
It was buffering for the simplest tasks. Now, we all know the saying, if a tree falls in the woods, no one's around to hear it. Does it make a sound? And the answer is no, it doesn't make a sound, because there's no one there to hear it. Now, this extends even further. Now, Grizz and I are sitting here talking to each other, and from our perspective, no one else exists. There's no one anywhere near us. We can't see another human being at all.
From my perspective, you don't exist.
From my perspective, you're a simulation on my computer screen. So that extends globally. You guys are listening to us right now. Because of that, you exist. You're listening to our recording, but at present time, we don't exist in your world at all. Now, 20 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, that wasn't a problem because the fog, it would take care of that buffer zone. And
I think you should explain the fog.
the fog is if you're playing, let's say, Grand Theft Auto, for example, you can't see across the map because it doesn't have the CPU power to render the whole map. So you see a fog, and as you go, you get to see more map, and then the fog picks up behind you. Now look at where we are at this level of interconnected technology that we have on planet Earth. Everybody's connected all the time. There's no room for fog, and we're really taxing the hardware.
So flat Earth?
Uh, what's that Planet X called? That's the one. No, this is simulation theory, Griz.
Oh, my bad.
We don't have the processing power for us to be as technologically advanced as we are. We can't all exist at the same time, but we're trying to do it.
I'm lost. Yeah, no, doesn't work. But you're going off the belief that only one of us is alive, like is actually conscious.
The only thing that exists in my life is me at the present time that I think about it and whoever's in my direct line of interaction.
But how can they exist if when you leave the room, they were gone?
When I leave the room, they're not there anymore.
That's my point.
If I can't interact with them in any way, I can't see, hear, or
Do
smell
they
them.
exist?
They no longer exist.
Yeah, but then they don't exist when you're in the room.
Like, no, they do,
there's a
because I'm
thing there.
experiencing them. They exist. Like right now, you're buffering. You're not real at the moment.
So it's an NPC. We're all NPCs to you? I see how it is, you asshole.
Exactly. And I should be an NPC to everybody else. Like my mom lives in Kentucky. Kentucky doesn't even exist unless I'm on the phone with my mom.
It does. They're worried about abortion right now.
No. Do you see? That's my point. It exists because we're too connected and we're taxing the system and it's going to crash.
Yeah, it's all fucked. Which, yeah. A couple weeks ago, we had a gentleman on and he talked about censoring the internet. There's no way that could be good. I don't like that.
Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. There are people who should not have a voice.
What?
Yes. There are people so radical and so out of touch with reality, however simulated it may be, that they should not have a voice.
Are you saying he shouldn't have a voice or that we should censor the internet? I'm lost.
I don't really know. I haven't really given it that much thought. Should we censor the internet? I don't even know how
No.
that would look in practice.
Problem is, who's deciding? Is it the government? I don't trust them enough.
Well, you're looking at the internet as a purely American thing. If you have a problem with censoring it, it's not American. It's global.
I know. It's the world.
Worldwide.
Yes, I know. Because there are parts of the world that censor the internet. But look at the parts of the world that censor the internet.
They don't have internet problems.
It's true. They also don't have intelligence problems. I've said this before. If you're on a border and you're a guard, and people on your country are running over that border out of your country, and you're shooting them, what are you guarding?
You're not guarding anything. You're potentially missing.
You're
'Cause-
guarding the other country.
Because sometime later this year, it'll be your turn to run the border.
Oh, my bad.
So I know that you have an issue with censoring the internet. And
I do.
as I said, it's global, but there is
I don't care if other
someone,
places censor it. I care
there
if the
is
United
someone
States censors
who
it.
has no problem with censoring things that fit their narrative.
Biden?
I don't know. It's the Zuck.
Oh, well, yeah, we knew this already.
Mark Zuckerberg is at it again. So there is a lot of issues going on in Australia. I don't know if you've been following this, but Australia's had about enough of Facebook's shit. The
for
problem
them.
is Australia is trying to pass
Oh, yeah.
harsh new tech laws. Okay. And again, Facebook has a whistleblower, as they do, because they're, laughably criminal, like horribly evil company. And turns out that the Australian government uses Facebook a lot to get information out to the public. And Facebook decided it would be a great idea to take down all the government Facebook pages as leverage so that they wouldn't pass those laws.
Strong arming.
That I think that's a felony in the U.S. That sort of thing.
I imagine it probably is over there too. I
It's
also, not to mention, Australia is a country that I've met them and their military. I really wouldn't want to piss them off.
no, you
They'd
wouldn't want to
like
do that.
castrate you and feed you your own nuts.
Yeah, and people who use the word cunt as casual conversation, you don't fuck with people like that.
I mean, Britain does. Not as
Okay,
worried about
I
them.
take that back. Well, Australians do use it much better.
It's true. Which you kind of brought something up there, Jerry.
Mhm.
What if Zuck is just a Tesla bot?
You know, he does look a lot like the Tesla bot, and I think he also might be around 5'8".
You gotta look this up. If he's 5'8", that says it, right?
Oh boy, this is scaring me. Oh no, he's 5'7".
He's 5'7".
We just escaped that one. Unless he's just an early iteration.
I was gonna say he's version, 1.0, so that they decided he was too short.
With this level of coincidence and connectivity, are you still doubting the simulation theory?
Simulation theory, yes.
Can't be.
Why?
There's no way that there could be this amount of like communicating effort from the powers that be without some overarching programmer who's just fucked up.
Is that what COVID was? They needed to fucking rewrite all the code, so they made everyone go into their house.
No, COVID was just an experiment. They wanted to see what would happen. Wouldn't that be gross if we actually turn on our Tesla bots when we get them? It's Mark Zuckerberg's digital face.
God, I would vomit immediately. It would then fry the Tesla bot, and that's when they would kill me.
I did see though that Elon Musk is talking about programming in a failsafe so that they don't kill us all. But anyway, we do have an actual guest for next week, guys, and
We do.
there's a very low chance that this one's going to ghost us.
Yeah. Who are we going to talk to next week, Jerry?
That's a good question. I honestly don't know. I don't check the schedule. That's your job.
You're so useless. Yeah, we have a guest next week. His name is Roman. Not attempting his last name because I butcher that shit.
He will. Guys.
He grew up in the Ukraine, and he moved. Actually, he grew up in the Ukraine when he was still part of the USSR, and then he got the fuck out of there.
That sounds interesting. I'd like to get his take on things.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to hear, and because someone from over there is going to have a little bit different take on how shit is,
Mhm.
just because different things are taboo or not. I think it'll be good.
100%.
If you guys have questions, ask us.
Yeah, ask us whatever you think of that you want to hear from this guy. As long as it's not going to get us punched in the mouth, we'll ask him. And even then, we might still ask him.
I'll ask it. Thank you again for listening to Beautiful Bastards. New episodes every Monday. Remember to like and subscribe. That detective is the right question.
Revealing the truth is like lighting a match. It can bring light, or it can set the world on fire.
I hope that's the motto of the Ministry of Truth.